Hello everyone, welcome back to Indie Props. I'm your host Cassian, and this video is going to be a little different from the rest. So we are not going to do anything Star Wars in this video. We are actually going to work on a prop from the Odyssey. So I want to make the sword of Odysseus. It's a Bronze Age sword, so I'm going to first reprint it. I'm going to make a mold out of it, and hopefully cold cast it with bronze powder and resin and see how it turns out. And hopefully it comes out good. I'm not too sure, but there is a time crunch though. So I am moving out within 4 days of this apartment. I'm going somewhere else. I'll explain that in a different video. But pretty much all of this has to come down too. So everything you see on this wall has to be given away, sold, or just thrown in the trash. So I'm going to be doing a giveaway, and I'm going to be selling most of these props. More on that in the end of the video, and if not, there's going to be a future video too. There's going to be 2 giveaways, one here for YouTube and one for Instagram. So with that being said, let's get started on the build. So the parts for Odysseus' sword came out great. They came out decent. The hilt too came out okay, but it's the tiny decorational pieces that should go on the wooden part of the hilt that didn't come out the best. I mean, I am using a 3 printer with a 0.4 nozzle, so I don't have a 2mm nozzle, and I wish I had a resin printer, but I don't. But these pieces are this one's manageable, but Odysseus' sword has a bunch of little decorational pieces. He's got some lions on the hilt. I think the 3 printing part of this project is done, so I could get started on the sanding part of it, because these tiny little pieces are way too hard to work with. Okay, so far, I assembled the actual blade, and I think I did maybe 5 wet sandings, where I start with 150 grit, and I work all the way up to 7,000 grit sandpaper. I start wet sanding around the 1,000 mark, but yeah, I think I did that maybe 3 to 4 times. It's just the hardest part about this build is I want it completely smooth, or as smooth as I could get it. But the points where the blade actually attaches to itself, it's not perfect. There are small gaps in it. I already put some, I forgot what is this, some Bondo spot putty to bulk up the gaps and then sand them down. But I've done this for maybe I'm like 5 hours straight already. So I'm going to call this good. If it's not perfect, I mean, to be fair, the Odyssey takes place back during the Bronze Age, I believe. So most likely they would have made the sword out of wax, made a mold, and then pour the bronze, or I'm not too sure how they would have made it. But if it's not perfect, it's permitted. These pieces are the wood piece. I only went up to, I believe, 600 grit, because I don't want it to be polished smooth, that's for sure. And then the blade, the handle itself for the blade, I went all the way to 1,000 grit on the side, because this is also going to be bronze colored. Pretty much bronze, and then the wood handle is going to be a black color for the wood handle. It's really hard to get these perfectly polished just because they're so small, and I don't have any tools that could sand that detailed of a piece. So this is the biggest piece I have so far. I haven't started sculpting the lions yet that are going to go on the handle. For that, I might just do a resin printing service. I might just go with that and then just upload the finished result when this video comes out. So at least the goal for this video is to get a mold out of this already. But yeah, I'm gonna take a break. Okay, so there was quite a lot of things that went wrong during this project. First, it was a time crunch. Second, it was these pores. So I did 2 attempts before I finally got it right on the 3rd one. But both of these attempts, the resin leaked out like crazy through the sides. My best guess is that I didn't put enough registration keys in the actual silicone mold itself. Pretty much registration keys are, it's like a Lego piece where the two halves of the silicone mold connect with each other, and I didn't put enough in there. So the resin was leaking out like crazy through the sides. So I had barely enough resin left to do the sword casting itself, and enough left over for the handle and the few decorative pieces that go on the sword. And unfortunately for me, you could see the seams where the 3D print was connected to itself. So I couldn't sand it well enough. I mean, I tried my best, but I just could not get the seams to disappear, even after using Bondo, filler putty, and also using filler primer. If you guys have some advice for me on how to work around that, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys left a comment in the video. A second thing I would do if I did this project again is install a metal rod inside the silicone while I pour the resin, because the sword is sturdy, don't get me wrong, but there is a little bit of wobble up and down when you flex the sword a little bit. So a solid structure inside the sword would also be great. So now we move on to the Athena mold. So this is going to play a cool part in the finished project. You'll just have to wait till then to see what that's going to be about, or how this is going to be incorporated into the sword build. So as you can see, my background is gone. Yeah, well, filming this video, I was also juggling tearing down the whole background, removing the electronics, removing all the 3D printed stuff, so that I could hopefully sell it or do a giveaway at the end of a video. So yeah, that video is going to come out after this one. So yeah, it was just a whole mess. It was juggling this project that had resin pouring everywhere, had silicone running all over the place, and also juggling just completely tidying up the apartment before I moved so that I could get my security deposit back. So with that being said, back to the project.